Welcome to this week's Creature Feature. My name is Adam Davis, one of the educators and interpreters here with the Museum of York County. And for this Creature Feature, we're going to do something a little bit different. This time of year, everybody has dried leaves and pumpkins on their minds. I know I do. But let's go somewhere a little warmer, a little wetter. For this week's Creature Feature, we're going to talk about an animal that has a reputation for being a voracious predator, something with sharp teeth and the kind of appetite that can make a skeleton out of a cow in a matter of moments. Sounds like a horror movie, but that's the thing about scary stories. They're never so scary once the truth comes out. In the wild, most piranha species are found in South America, but there are some that are also found in Southeast Asia. Just looking at this specimen gives some people the creeps, especially those teeth. When the specimen was alive, though, it was a lot less eerie looking, even accounting for that mouth. You can tell a lot about an animal just by looking at its teeth. Compare the piranha to these shark teeth. They have a very similar shape, especially on the fossilized megalodon here. And on the megalodon, you can even see the serrations going up the sides. They're meant to work like a steak knife, ripping through their food. Honor sharks, who have jaws like these, are meant for catching much longer, more slippery prey. And they point back inward to make sure nothing gets out once it goes in. Piranha teeth are also serrated, but much more finely. You would need a magnifying glass to see the edge on these teeth. They have one of the strongest bites of any vertebrate despite their small size. You can see how chunky that jaw is housing those teeth. Unlike most sharks, they swim in schools and hunt together as a group. Sometimes, however, clues like pointy teeth aren't always as obvious. Of course, we can tell right away a piranha can eat meat, and their entire reputation revolves around them being carnivores. What many people don't know, however, is that most species are omnivores. They can eat meat and vegetation. Many rainforests in many parts of the world don't have the same kinds of seasons that we do here in the Piedmont. They don't go through spring, summer, autumn, winter. What instead they'll have is a rainy or maybe even a monsoon season followed by a drier season. When there's more rain, the water level in the riverbanks rises, which gives fish like the piranha access to food they otherwise wouldn't be able to reach, like all that lush vegetation on the sides of the river. But during the dry season, when that water level recedes and goes down, they lose access to that food supply. And fish like the piranha have adapted to eat meat to fill the gap so they can survive. So, what kind of prey do they like? The stories would have us believe whole cows and whole people, but that's a misunderstanding that goes back more than 100 years. In real life, piranhas will go for other fish, they'll eat insects, and sometimes they will go for vertebrates, reptiles, mammals, things that fall into the river, but nothing as big as a cow or a person. There have been people living alongside these animals on the riverbanks of the Amazon for generations. They'll even use the teeth of the piranha as tools. They'll use them for cutting hair, sharpening darts, even catching other fish. Sometimes a fisherman or someone working may get bitten, but let's consider why. A fisherman is gathering a lot of food that they like all together in one place. Easy meal. And a swimmer thrashing around may give these predators the impression of an animal that's been injured or might be drowning. Even learning that, I know there are members of our audience that are relieved to find out that we don't have anything like this guy living in any of our local waters. Not in the Catawba, not in Lake Wylie. It's probably easy to figure out why. These fish, their food, their environment is is used to much warmer climates year-round than anything that we have here in the Piedmont. Our fish, like the bass, are adapted for changing temperatures, for wider waters, just for an entirely different ecosystem. And when any animal that is released into an unfamiliar ecosystem, it's very likely that it won't be able to survive. Another obstacle a fish like a piranha would have trying to adapt to our waters, we already mentioned them. Fish like bass are predators, and our predators, being used to these waters, have a little bit of a home turf advantage. Somebody like the piranha wouldn't know to avoid a fish like a bass, which could make them more of an easy meal for them than the other way around. And one final thought. When I said there were no piranha in Lake Wylie, some of you who have been with us for a little while may be thinking back to a news story a few years ago where a few fishermen had reported they caught exotic fish with very strange teeth in Lake Wylie. That did happen, but they weren't piranha. They were one of the piranha's cousin, known as the pacu fish. The reports show that they most likely had been released from a tropical aquarium, and while they have a body design very similar to the piranha, the pacu are distinct because they have uncannily human teeth. So, with that reminder that you would have to cross continents to see live wild piranha in their natural habitat, we hope you enjoyed this week's Creature Features.